Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to show you how to get time delay in Voiceflow. So I've just got a very basic chatbot. The whole function of this chatbot is to demonstrate the time delay. So I'm going to be prompted to enter in how many seconds I want to delay the next reply for. So I'm going to put 5. I'm going to hit enter and I'm going to hit start here on a timer. Okay, we've got a reply roughly around 6 seconds. Let's redo that and go a little bit longer this time, just to demonstrate that this is like a dynamic solution. So I'm going to hit reset here. I'm going to hit go and click start. Okay, so 11 seconds. As you can see, it's a dynamic time delay. So this is a production chatbot. This is the production mode of the chatbot, by the way. This is not a testing environment. Let's just look at how this works. There's an API endpoint that you can target that looks like this. And this is the entire API call, by the way. No headers, no parameters, nothing else. And it's going to be a GET request going to this endpoint. And this number on the end is just 5 seconds delay. So if I set it at like 10 seconds, for example, it'll be 10-second delay. So I'm making the API call here just to demonstrate how this works. And it's going to be a successful API call. And we had 6 seconds, 6.1 seconds. And let's just change this to 10, send it again. And you can see that now this is the API call currently in progress. And yeah, it's going to take 10 seconds. It's going to be successful again. And now we had 11.2 seconds. So how I was doing the dynamic part before was I just took this last part, which is the seconds, the number in seconds, and I inserted a dynamic variable. That's why I was asking for the variable over here. How many seconds or how much time do you want to delay for? So in testing mode, you can actually use this API call and plug it into the flow and it'll work. But in production, when you deploy this chatbot to your website, this API call, it will not work. You have to actually build this API call into a function, and then when it's in a function, it works. And I'll show you how to build that function. It's super easy. But as you can see, how long do you want to delay for? We have the delay variable capturing the seconds. So I had 5, then I had 10 in a test. And then we map it, that delay variable, into a delay input of the function. And this function is super easy to make. I'll just show you how to make it in a couple of seconds. And then we have the output message here. Okay, let's look at how to make this function. Before we go into there, I'm just going to copy this URL, and it's a GET request as well. Okay, so let's build out the function. Let's go new function and choose starter template, which is fetch user information. And over on the right-hand side, we've got one input, we've got 2 outputs, success and an error path. And this is a template function that you guys will have access to as well. It's a very basic function. It just makes an API call to get some information. So what we're going to do is we're going to map our delay variable into here. So we're going to change this user ID to delay. Then we're going to change the URL here, so the endpoint, which is going to be our API delay endpoint. And then we're going to just change the output message and remove some of these output variables because we don't need any of this. So let's start from the top. The first thing we need to do is just change this to delay. And this is going to be the delay in seconds. Then let's change this to delay, and let's change this to delay. So over here, we're just saying we're going to have an input variable called delay as one of our variables for this function that we're building. This is just a generic, like we're testing to make sure that delay actually contains something. So if we put in a null value, it's going to throw an error. You can change all this kind of stuff if you like. I'm just for the purpose of this video, we don't need to be too specific. Then I'm going to take this endpoint. And again, I've got these marked. These are like, I forgot what this is called, but I'm leaving these 2 marks here and I'm pasting in my delay. Now I actually need to make that last bit dynamic, or you can make it static. Like it really depends on how much of a delay you need for your function, but you can just use a delay variable to set the delay time. So if you're in your function, you want to delay one function for 5 seconds, one for 10, one for 15. When you map in your variable here, you can just put the number 5 instead of using a dynamic variable like I did for my test. I'll show you how that looks like in a second. So here, we're going to insert this delay variable dynamically. So that's going to be the $, the squiggly bracket. We're going to write delay and then close the squiggly bracket. From here, it's a get request, which is what we're cool with. We're going to leave these headers. We don't really care about them for now. And actually, we don't really care about too much of this necessarily. Like this is just over here, we're making the actual fetch request. So we're making the API call. We're checking that it was successful. And we're using try catch. So we're going to try make the API call. We're going to try see if it's successful. And if anything isn't successful, then it's just going to throw an error. So from here, we don't really need like any of this stuff. This is not important for us. This is also not important for us, the output variables. But we do want to take the success path if it is successful. So it's good that we're checking the status, because if it isn't successful, we just throw an error, but we don't have to worry about that too much. So from here, we're going to change this to basically say delayed for, and then again, this is going to be the time in seconds. So this is going to be, for example, 5. This will be delayed for 5 and then seconds. And then over here, we don't really care too much about what's happening. And then we also have to remove these output variables. So let's give this a test. I'm going to put 5 for now and execute. Let's see if our changes were successful, if we edited this function correctly. We did. So we got 5 seconds. Let's try that again and now go 10 seconds. Execute. Okay, we got 10 seconds. Perfect. So now our function is called fetch user information. Let's just rename this so we know what this is. Time delay. Yeah, we'll call it time delay. I think this is different enough from the other one. I'm just going to put 1 here as well, just so I know, because I've made the other function before. Let's go back to home and let's just delete that, remake a new one. We got function. And let's go, okay, time delay 1. That's what we had here. And now when we're mapping in our variable either, we can dynamically set it. So you can essentially have some kind of condition which is not shown to the customer that shows we just want to delay for a certain amount of time that is dynamic to what the customer is choosing. You can use a variable. Otherwise, if you just want to delay all the time for 5 seconds or 10 seconds at this certain step, you can just map in a number. So in this case, we're not really going to use any of these numbers here. We're not going to use this variable. So I'm going to put an arbitrary value here as well. So I'm just going to say hello. And you're going to see it's not going to be plugged into this function. But we are running and we are delaying for 5 seconds. Okay. So let's publish this. Let's run this. We'll initialize the chat. And then we're going to go back to our production environment, which is here. And we'll end the chat. Refresh for good luck. Start a new chat. And let's just type in hello and make sure that it worked with our actual number input. So here we are. It's going to be 5 seconds. That's what we set it to. Delayed for 5 seconds. Okay, done. Perfect. Okay, guys, that's how you time delay in Voiceflow. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to this page. See ya.